Hey, what's up guys? So today is the day. I'm going to be doing a review of my side-by-side. This is one of the most highly requested things that I've been asked to do as of late. And here we are. So how I'm going to lay this out for you is I'm going to go around here in the garage. I will give you the nuts and bolts of what makes this machine what it is, and then my family and I are actually going to take it out today, so I will get some on-trail footage for you as well. So stick around for that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2013 Odes 800 Dominator. I think that's how you say it. I don't know, I've heard some other people say Odes, but anyway, Odes is what I call it. Okay, so quick history as to how this came into my possession. Now, I bought it brand new in 2013. I was on the hunt for a side-by-side, one in which gave me some options as far as like utility, pack some cargo, those types of things are considered. And so my original plan was I wanted to look at a Yamaha Rhino, which, as most of you are probably seeing, this is a Yamaha Rhino, more or less, right? Like I'm talking 99% Yamaha Rhino. And now it is a Asian knockoff of that. But the part that really drew me to it, well, one, like I mentioned, it's the cargo capabilities. But the other side of this is, this has a Can Am 800 V-twin in it, and a Can Am transmission. Now, I guess I should maybe preface that a little bit. Now, it doesn't have Can Am stampings on it, but to give you an idea, when I go to buy an oil filter and change the oil in this thing, I go to Can Am and I buy an oil filter from Can Am. So I haven't messed around with, hopping this thing up, but I've read some articles, guys go and they buy, head kits for Can Am 800s. And so they are an identical match. And that was a big draw for me because, like I say, considering the Yamaha Rhino, I just wasn't crazy about the 700cc single cylinder motor. I mean, it's a great motor. I got it in my Raptor, but in my opinion, it's great on a 400-pound machine. It's not great on a 1,500-pound machine. It's just underpowered. So anyway, this V-twin is, for all intents and purposes, like, it's a monster. It gets you everywhere you want to go. I believe the stats on it are it's about a 65 horsepower, 65, 70 horsepower setup. Great transmission. Yeah, like I've put it up side by side with other side-by-sides, and this thing is as powerful, does all the things you want it to, just like the other side-by-sides do, but for like a third the cost. So anyway, my buddies gave me a hard time about doing it when I was talking to them, and they're like, you're gonna regret this, you're buying this Chinese thing, whatever. Well, here we are 7 years later, and no regrets whatsoever. It's been an absolute great machine. Okay, so now I guess that's kind of the pros of it. Cons are, this isn't the most refined piece of machinery, okay? Like it's got its quirks if you're somewhat picky with the finer details of things. Seat's forward here right now, but they tilt. They're in there, but whatever. The fit and finish is okay. It's just not as beautiful as you would expect from a mainstream rig, right? Glove box. You get your information center. It tells you everything you want to know: RPM, speed, fuel. Front and rear winches. Pretty neat feature. The obvious four-wheel drive, lock, diff lock, all that good stuff. It does have some kind of, I call it sort of hokey things. You can't really see it from this side, but there's actually a hydraulic ram that lifts the box up. You can see it right there, that silver shaft. Now mine's somewhat incapacitated right now because I've got my seat bolted in there. So I'm just going to fight the bolts if I go to lift the box up. But, you know, good little tailgate, not plastic. Now it's tin, but I don't know, in my opinion, tin's better than plastic for strength. This is the seat I built for it. Quick little note on that, like, one of the things I like about having a cheaper machine, actually two things. One is I don't feel terrible when it sits in the garage and I don't use it, because I've only got a third the cash tied up in it than a name brand mainstream unit. But stuff like this, I mean, I go and build my own seat and I don't feel guilty that I didn't buy the Polaris one or whatever, you know. On that note, I'm actually looking at building a bit of a boat rack for it right now. Thinking, you know, kind of like a pickup boat rack. I've got a 10-foot flat bottom aluminum that I wouldn't mind taking out and getting into some places that you can't get in a pickup. But yeah, you don't feel bad doing that sort of stuff. And or if you bang it up a little bit, you know, well, here obviously my kids decided to wipe some of the mud off it. You just, I don't know, you can kind of treat it as more of a utility piece than something you're panicked over because you spent 30 grand on it. But now some of you are probably scratching your heads wondering, like, what's something like this worth? So this unit, in pretty much the trim that you see it, it came with a full windshield. I added that. The only other bits and pieces I've added are the Gorilla Silverbacks, you know, stupid stuff. Gun bag, seat, came with the roof, came with the doors, front and rear winches. Anything else? Oh, I put the little stereo in it, the light bar, but it comes as you see. This is actually the plow it came with too. No, it's not the best plow in the world, but you know what? It moves snow. So minus those items, this is the way this unit came from the factory. This is the way I bought it. And I quite literally, all in, loaded this thing on my trailer, out the door with taxes, spent $10,900 on it. Now, for those of you that need a bit of a comparison, I spent more on my first Suzuki King Quad 700. And here I got a side-by-side, right? Other neat little things that I've noticed that works quite well for me and my family is the kids. I've got 3 girls. They kind of grew up in this rig. You can put a full-size car seat here, and I just strap it to the rack, right, to the cage. So yeah, it's wicked for that. Yeah, my dog fits on the floor. Yeah, your standard stuff, right? Cup holders, whatever. 4-wheel independent suspension. One downfall I will mention with that is, like, this would not be the rig that you want to go to the dunes and see how far you can jump it. Like, the suspension is good, but it's not like these new Razor 1000s. You know, you're definitely not going to keep up with those guys in the trails at all. This is more of a get where you're going kind of rig, bit more of a workhorse. As per the specifications on it, like, it'll tow a ton. I think it's something like 2,000 pounds. So this thing's almost like a bit of a hot rod meets like a John Deere unit. You know, you get that sort of utility with it. Oh, I got my coal pin saw mount. But, you know, like I say, you know, I just bolted this thing on with U-bolts. I don't feel bad about doing something like that. I think I would if I had a higher end, high dollar machine, you know. Doesn't have power steering. It's the old manual, right? But whatever, it does all right. Kind of your standard for those of you that are familiar with Can Am, right? They've always got a park feature in their CVT trans. But yeah, again, the fit and finish, right? So I do think any door is going to wear out after a while. This one does actually close. It's just not. You can see even here, right? Like the bracket that it locks itself to. It's just not 10 out of 10 perfect. You know, it might be 5 or a 6. But yeah, like I say, it does us well. Decent bumper. Like I said, I added the light bar. I've got HID headlights in it. Here, I'll pop the hood for you. Nothing too interesting for those of you that are familiar with side-by-sides. Has a horn. It actually has signal lights too. And it came with mirrors. That's what this is. So for those of you in the United States that could run these things on the road, like you could buy one of these and run it down the road quite easily. But haven't had any leaks. I haven't had any catastrophic failures. To be honest, I haven't had any failures. Like no brakes. Actually, wait. No, I'm kind of lying to you. My front diff leaked ever so slightly. And all I did was pull it apart and reseal it. So again, going back to my point of like building my own seat and all that stuff, you don't feel so bad when you gotta tackle a problem like that, you know, and you don't have to go down to Polaris. You just pull the cover off it and put some sealant on it and bolt it back up. So yeah, I guess it's as easy as that. You should, I guess maybe what I would say is I don't know if I'd recommend this unit for someone that does not consider themselves handy. Maybe just a little bit beyond the average of handy. Because if and when you have like I mentioned, the diff issue, you're going to be farting around with it. And if you're not handy and you don't have the tools, well, you're going to be probably bitching and moaning that this thing's a pile of junk, it leaks oil, and you don't have any factory support. Now, this thing, I think if I remember right, I had like a year, or it might have even been 2 years warranty on it. And they were really good about it. I actually had that hydraulic ram that I talked about that runs the rear box. It failed on me, and they just got me a new one. I think they even would have put it in for me, but I said, oh, don't worry about it, right? I just grabbed it and put it in myself. So yeah, that's the quick walk around. It's got a bit of a skid plate system on it. Actually, not a bit of one. Like it does have a skid plate. It's just it's tin. It's it's not poly. It's held on with tech screws. So again, it's not the finest of the fine with beautiful bolts and stuff, but it does the trick. Done me all right for 7 years. These tires, by the way, are absolutely unbelievable. Not the best for running down on tarmac surfaces, but as far as being out in the snow, mud, anything, they're just absolutely vicious. If you get stuck in these, you got a big problem. guys, so we're back from the little trip. We're dirty, got lots of cleanup to do. Guess that's kind of part of the fun of going out. But yeah, final thoughts and in closing, I mean, this machine has been great for me and my family. We love it. It's gotten us everywhere we want to go. Again, if you're, I don't even know if it's fair to stack this up against the mainstream units. You know what I mean? It's somewhat in a bit of a league of its own. I don't know. If you wanted to stack it up against it though, and let's just say one of the full price, top dollar Japanese, Canadian Bombardier Can Am units, say that's a 10 out of 10, I'd give this probably a hard 6.5, 7. Like I said, you know, the refinement and anyway. But is it fun? 100%. Does it get you everywhere those other machines go? 100%. So, but again, if you're looking or considering something like one of these, I would say, you know, expect to be a little bit handy with it. But don't be afraid of it either, right? Like that's the fun of getting into something like this. You know, you're going to get your hands dirty and you're going to have some fun with it and learn a few things along the way, fix stuff. And yeah, I mean, I guess the benefit of it is maybe if you do buy one and you got some questions or you're trying to fix something on it, hit me up. I mean, I just changed a belt on this unit. It didn't need to be, well, I shouldn't say that. Once I got it out, it was getting to the end of its life, but it's not like it was blown or anything. I'd never changed the belt on it, but yeah, wasn't that hard. But anyway, I could go on and on. As always, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it. And questions, comments are always welcome. Hit me up. Maybe I can answer some questions if you're considering buying one of these units. Thanks again for watching, and till next time, take care.